China has come a long way in the last 20 years, and especially in the last two. In the next few minutes, you can see some interesting technological advances. Xpeng's Aero HT X3 prototype turns a street-legal vehicle into a flying car. It's not quite in its final intended form, but Xpeng's Aero HT X3 has already achieved something most people didn't think was possible anytime soon: lifting a street-legal passenger vehicle into the air using electric power. The Chinese automaker successfully completed a test flight of a simplified prototype version of its Aero HT X3 flying car, which is incredible enough in its own right. Even more surprising might be the fact that the company has enough financial backing to move full steam ahead on developing a real, marketable electric flying car that can drive around on the roads and then lift off vertically on demand. If the prototype looks like a quadcopter strapped onto the roof of an ordinary car, that's because it basically is, at least for now. While the original HT Aero flying supercar design is more compact, with two electric rotors on articulating arms that fold away under the car's rear bodywork, the working prototype required a few tweaks. It has an 8-rotor coaxial vertical lift system to add redundancy in case of failure, itself contained within a giant box atop the vehicle. The arms fold into this box instead of the body of the car, and the whole thing weighs an eye-watering 1936 kilograms, 4,268 pounds. In driving mode, it is comparable with any conventional cars in terms of functionality and measurement, says Xpeng. In flight mode, the flying car is piloted using the steering wheel and the right-hand gear lever as controls to move forward and backward, make turns, ascend, hover, and descend. Subject to laws and regulations for the low-altitude airspace, it can take off and land vertically and fly over traffic congestion, obstacles, and rivers to meet a new host of short-distance mobility needs. The creator of the original hoverboard, Shane Chen, revealed his latest invention Tuesday. Chen introduced Shane, deemed the first two-wheeled EV concept ready for everyday use. Hoverboard inventor unveils two-wheeled Shane EV. Chen developed and patented the first self-balancing hovertrack scooter, which became known as the hoverboard, back in 2012. Despite millions of Chinese copycats flooding the market since it was revealed, Chen holds 76 patents today. Some of his most famous outside of hoverboard include Solo Wheel, Orbit Wheels, Power Wing, and Aqua Skipper. Chen says Shane marks the inaugural moment in auto history that a parallel two-wheeled electric car is practical for everyday driving. Although the vehicle looks like a toy from the outside, Shane is designed to fit 5 adults comfortably. The inside looks like you are preparing for a futuristic roller coaster. Once moving, the vehicle's wheels automatically adjust to keep the car in perfect balance. The creators claim the design enables safe travel at high speeds. Shane makes parking and maneuvering a breeze with two-wheel differential speed control. The vehicle's large wheels minimize rolling resistance and include regenerative shocks to convert damping into energy to charge the battery. Auto ROID. Stand up. As if waking from a slumber to respond to the call, the machine's chassis gyrates and slowly brings itself up off its side stand to stand upright on its own. With a beckoning gesture or call from the rider, Motors ROID moves forward, and sometimes rotates its chassis to snake left and right as if engaged in a friendly frolic with the rider. Despite being a human with a machine, the scene looks more like a dog, albeit a very large one, and its owner going for a leisurely stroll with a sense of intimacy and mutual trust. The show visitors crowded around the stage were mesmerized by Motors ROID, and their imaginations likely began to run wild. In the not-so-distant future, we may actually see motorcycles become this advanced. It was a show-stopping sight at the Tokyo Motor Show in 2017. The primary technologies comprising Motors ROID are an image recognition AI system for recognizing the rider's face and gestures, Yamaha's exclusive AMSs, active mass center control system, self-balancing technology, and a haptic human-machine interface, HMI, that wraps around the hips and is aimed at fostering nonverbal communication between rider and machine. Each of these cutting-edge technologies were already being developed independently before Motors ROID, and the original mission given to the design team was to create a design for the exterior covers of the testbed vehicle for these technologies. The request was for a machine that looks and acts like a living creature. It was this idea that would eventually lead to the creation of MOTOROID as an entirely new kind of vehicle. Jump Aero unveiled a new eVTOL, a launch customer, and a potentially new emergency medical response model. The eVTOL is called the JA-1 Pulse, an 8-rotor, tail-sitting, vaguely Star Wars-esque single-person air vehicle in which the pilot flies Superman-style, prone, in forward flight. Its aim is to rapidly deliver a pilot-paramedic to the scene of a medical emergency in rural areas within 8 to 10 minutes. The window of time before oxygen loss to the brain from a heart attack, stroke, or injury can cause debilitating damage or death. Pulse is the brainchild of a team led by former Terrafugia flying car startup CEO, Carl Dietrich. I spoke with Dietrich, who debuted Jump Aero's new concept at a conference in San Francisco on Friday, about the vehicle and what led him down the path to its eyebrow-raising design. Jump Aero has quietly been fleshing out its Pulse concept for 3+ years with funding support from the Air Force's Agility Prime program, as well as venture capital and angel investor funding. The Agility Prime imprimatur lends some visibility to a concept and a yet-to-be-built aircraft that may or may not pan out as envisioned. The concept for Pulse is illustrated in a company animation. In simple terms, a medical emergency arises and a mobile app is used to summon Jump's first responder. A Pulse aircraft with a pilot medic and an aircraft support person stationed in a commercially owned facility or at a fire/ambulance station is scrambled. The Motocompo was a folding tiny motorcycle, and unusually for Honda, it was a 2-stroke. It folded into a carry-on suitcase-sized lump that conveniently stowed in the trunk of the Honda City hatchback. The City was a pugnacious little bulldog of a car. It even got a much-admired turbo version and a very catchy, very 1980s ad starring the British ska band Madness. But the funny thing about the City is that it was designed from the get-go to handle the Motocompo, rather than the Motocompo being designed to fit in its cargo area. The idea was to get close to a congested city, park somewhere convenient, and Motocompo your way into downtown. The Motocompo, however, weighed 90 pounds, so hauling it in and out of the city was probably a chore. Here's where the Moto Compacto improves on the original. Instead of a smoky 2-stroke, it features a 0.5 kW, 11.8 lb-ft motor, and 6.8 Ah battery. All up, the Moto Compacto weighs just 41.3 pounds, less than half of its predecessor's mass thanks in part to a lightweight aluminum frame. It's compact, too, at just 29.2 inches long, 21.1 inches tall, and a measly 3.7 inches wide when folded up, with a handy carrying handle protruding out the top to make lugging it easier, too. Toyota's thinking outside the car with one of 2 new Concept I vehicles it revealed at the Tokyo Motor Show this year. The Concept I Walk is a sidewalk mobility device that takes up the same physical space as a person walking and that can anticipate and avoid collisions automatically. It looks sort of like a scaled-down Segway, but it's designed for easy operation for anyone using a single joystick for navigation and acceleration. As mentioned, it occupies no more space than a single pedestrian, which means it should be easy to use in real-world settings now, without any requirements in terms of changing behavior to accommodate the new transportation mode. The Concept I Walk has a slim body, culminating in the integrated control joystick, which is ergonomically designed to work with the human body. When the vehicle detects danger using its onboard sensors, it provides an alert and then automatically avoids whatever it sees, including things like a child darting out in front of its path, for instance. The total width of the base is less than a person's shoulder width, and its length front to back is less than a person's average stride. So it takes up less space than a person walking, Toyota says. And unlike vehicles like the Segway, there's no body weight shifting required, with steering designed around that single handle, which is positioned at about stomach height so it can be used in a relaxed position by the rider. There are 2 key features of Uni 1. First is that Uni 1 changes its height. Uni 1 takes the low position for more stability while the user is getting on, and shifts to the high position once moving, so that the user will have an eye level close to that of people who are standing. The other key feature is that a Uni-1 user can move in all directions just by shifting their body weight, thus using both hands freely. Having an eye level close to that of standing people enables natural communications while moving. Being able to use of both hands makes it possible to perform certain tasks while moving beyond operating the device. These key features of Uni-1 expand the potential of various people. Human-machine cooperative balance control technology. The system uses posture sensors to detect the user's natural postural movements, just like what happens when a person walks. By using data such as inclination angle and angular velocity, the intention estimation controller performs calculations to estimate the user's intention, such as whether the user wants to stay in place or to move toward which direction and at what speed. Based on the results of the estimate, the stabilization controller performs calculations to control the wheels so that the Uni-1 does not lean too far and applies feedback control to achieve natural behavior that is neither too fast nor too slow.